Hey everybody, I am Jarrett Ross, a GeneaVlogger, and on today's vlog, I will be talking about how I've been researching my family, which comes from Kiev, and how DNA is playing a role in that research. So to start the video, I'm going to talk about how I tried to maximize my ability to find matches using DNA. So to maximize my matches, I focused on my parents' kits, and I looked for matches which had large single segments of DNA. So a lot of times you'll get a match that'll say 136 centimorgans total match, but it might only say 17 centimorgans for the longest shared segment. So I was looking for those who had really large segments. And I found one on my mom's kit, and we're going to call that match MN. And this match had a 50 centimorgan stretch of shared DNA with my mom. So to me, 50 was fairly significant and could possibly mean a close enough relationship that could be found genealogically. So I took a look at this profile, and they actually had a tree attached. And in that tree, they had a family that had a name of Kasinovich. And this was really interesting to me because on my mom's side, we have the Casino family, which I actually spoke about in my World War I video, focusing on Abraham Casino. And when I took a look at where this family came from, I noticed that they came from a town that was part of Kiev. And Kiev is where my family came from. To take things a step even further, I noticed that this match between my mom and MN, there was also a significant X chromosome match. So after doing a bit of research, I ended up coming up with a hypothesis that my second great-grandfather, Harris Casino, was possibly the brother of Isaac Kasenovich, who later became known as Isaac Kassan. So I decided to contact the manager of MN's profile. And the manager of the profile is Evan Wolfson, who has been very active in the genealogy community and especially in the genetic genealogy community. So I sent him details on how I found MN, the links I found between the two families, and my hypothesis on the match. So we reviewed the information together, we sent things back and forth. He actually found a couple of documents which helped me trace family back another generation. We learned Harris's parents' names. But from everything we had, there was no way we could come to any sort of conclusion. So the next step was to do more testing, and I was able to get my grandmother tested. And when we got the results back from my grandmother, we noticed that she shared her largest segment with MN at 70 centimorgans. So that was really significant because that meant that it was definitely coming from my mother's side, which is where the Casino family comes from in my line. And as well, it helped Evan be able to triangulate between other members of his side of the family who've tested and between my side of the family. And had it not been for my grandmother testing and for MN testing, who is actually a second cousin of Evan's, as well as other family members, we wouldn't have been able to find all of this different information. But at this point, we were fairly sure this was the connection. The way the DNA matched up, it seemed to fit properly. One of the things that I'm always interested in when it comes to this kind of stuff is the similarities between different family members. And so Evan actually sent me a picture of Isaac Kasinovich. Looking at that and comparing it with my second great-grandfather, Harris Casino, and even though both photos are really low quality, you can see a striking resemblance between the two. Now, in reviewing all of the information further, it's harder to say that they were brothers. Part of the reason for this is Evan actually knew Isaac's father's name was Pincus. Harris Casino's father was a guy named Barney. Now, Barney and Pincus are very different names, so that really makes it more skeptical that they were brothers. But it is still a possibility. The X match between MN and my mom and my grandmother points towards it being a possibility. The fact that Barney isn't really a name that is found in Hebrew or Russian or Ukrainian very often, so his name was more than likely something else, and it could have been something like Pincus Bear or Bear Pincus, and from Isaac's side he was known as Pincus, and on our side he ended up being known as Barney. There's all sorts of possibilities with that. So because of this different information, we've come to the hypothesis that Harris and Isaac may have been either brothers or were cousins. Now there are two major directions we're going in for this research. The first is more DNA testing. We're going to get more relatives tested on both my side as well as Evan's side. One of the things Evan is focusing on is trying to find other matches. So one of the things he's doing, which I think is a genius way to do it, is he's taking my grandmother's kit and MN's kit and then looking for people who match both of them at 20 centimorgans or higher. And by doing that, it's really honing in on people that have a very high likelihood of coming from the same families that both Evan's side comes from and my side comes from. The other direction that we're taking is also through documentation. A lot of work is being done in getting documents from all over Ukraine and Russia, and we were actually able to get our hands on some revision lists and some different voting lists through jewishgen.org, as well as a project being done by Alex Krakowski. He is going through all sorts of records and getting them digitized and up online. For anyone who's interested in looking at any of these records, I'm going to link down below the web page that has the full listing of all the things that Alex is digitizing. You're going to need to have some basic understanding of Slavic languages or Hebrew handwriting to be able to go through these records. Evan is actually fairly decent with it, so he's been going through and he's actually found a few records for Kasinoviches, but we have yet to find anything that connects to either of our families. Thank you so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed, please be sure to give it the thumbs up and share with all of your friends and family. You can also click right about here if you'd like to subscribe. You can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at GeneaVlogger. I'm the GeneaVlogger. I'm out.